Hey guys, it's Will. Welcome to the channel. I'm a part-time day trader trying to become a full-time. Today we are going to review the month of May and see my progress. And to see what I've been going through, I have done many changes the past couple weeks. I have struggled a lot and I basically took the same amount of trades the past couple months, and that's still good. Still practicing my discipline, still trying to trade very little, and that's still good. I actually did take a trade on, I believe, Thursday, but it's just not here. I am going to remove the privacy filter to dollar amount, and we are pretty down bad. Of course, I'm not happy with this. This loss is more than the past 2 profitable months that I have, so it's not good. It's not good to have 2 good months and then 1 month that's bad, and then it just takes off all my good months. It goes to show that I am not consistent yet, and I am still working through my mistakes. My net P&L for the month is $159. Trade win percentage is 15%. My profit factor is 0.3. Day win percentage is 40%. Average win to loss is 1.7, which is good. It can be a little higher, at least a 2. So I got to work on that. I didn't trade a lot, but I had too many trades. I am taking too many trades on a singular day. When I'm losing, I'm taking a lot of trades. But usually when I win, I just walk away and just have one win. The major issue that I've been facing the past couple months is that I'm just taking too many trades when I'm losing. I told myself I'm going to take 2 trades, but I still take 3 trades. Moving forward, I am only going to take 1 trade a day, and then I'm just going to walk away. If I win, I win. If I lose, I lose. It's because if I have a 50% win rate, I am going to win because I know my average win to loss is going to be higher. And I know that I'm only going to be taking 1 trade, so why am I going to be down? It's just a matter of probability. If I have a profit factor or a daily win percentage of 50%, then my average win to loss is over a 1 or a 2, then I'll be up. I am going to break down these trades and these days for you briefly, but if you guys do want to watch a full review and live trades, then you guys will watch my previous videos. The first trade I took was on May 8th. It was 2 trades. It was a win and a loss, and it was the same idea, but I think I just took it too early, or I think I got faked out. Yeah, I think I got faked out, but it was a short position. It was a break and retest short. I was looking at the SPY right here. It was breaking down. I was waiting for that retest, and I did get faked out, but I re-entered because I saw the NASDAQ rejecting this level still, and the SPY or the ES was still rejecting this level. So I did take it down into the next demand zone, which was right here on the QQQ. I was respecting that, and it did get bought back up. If it didn't sell, I would have lost. In hindsight, I'm really looking at the trade to see if it's really A+, because the previous day did have a lot of highs around this level right here. So I wasn't really sure if it was a proper A+ strategy, but you can always still trade a downside. And this was really a proper break and retest short right here, and it looked really A+, so I just did take it. And I knew that there was a lot of highs in the market. We still are in a bullish market, so I did want to respect the highs of the market, and it did sell, and I still got a good profit, but I just got faked out. The next trade I took was on May 16th. Probably should not have taken this trade, but it's probably because I was like, I'm only up $8. I want to take a trade, and then I probably took a trade. It was all losses. First trade was 32%, 18%, 27%. It is on the higher end of the range. I do want it to be like 20% or less. Keep in mind, we are in a bullish market, and I am doing shorts a lot. I haven't taken a long since like 2 or 3 months ago, and this is probably why I'm taking all these losses. What you see now, these are all 2 minutes. I do have the 30 minutes and all that type of stuff, but I'm just going to break down the trade, and we can see it's kind of choppy. I did take stupid trades here. I was looking at this breakdown on the SPY. It started retesting the level, so I didn't take it early. I waited for the next retest. It was still retesting, and it was still rejecting the level, so I did take it. It looked A+ for me. See it on the ES as well. It was holding right here. The pre-market, it broke down, and it was started to retest, and that's why I took the short position. But we can see on the Qs and the NASDAQ that it's holding, we're still holding the demand zone, and I did take it for a short. And I tried it multiple times, and I kept losing. That's why I lost. I tried an idea multiple times, and looking back at the market structure was not bearish, and that's why I took the loss in the first place. And I stacked up the losses because I kept trying the same idea. And that's the reason why I only want to take 1 trade, because I might just be reading the whole market structure wrong, and I just keep taking the same idea multiple times for no reason when I'm not even reading the market properly. Since I just believe my setup will work, I'm confident in my setups, and I'm confident in just believing I want to be right. I had to be right, so that's why I probably keep taking the same idea. I took 2 trades the next week. It was on the Thursday and Friday. It was not good as well, but this trade was actually good on the Thursday, and it was also the same idea multiple times again. It was a short. The first trade was 21%, 14, 25, and 20. These are all comfortable losses, but there weren't good losses in the first place because I kept taking the same idea. The first idea was right, but I just kept trying it multiple times because I got annoyed that I failed the trade. I missed the trade, the opportunity to lock in my profits. Here was the trade idea, and we still are kind of bullish, and I'm still trying to short. Looking at the SPY again, we see how it gets stuck right here. It keeps rejecting the market. It rejects right there. Basically, the SPY rejected twice here, and then it did a break right there. It did a retest. It wasn't really a proper retest, but it was still retesting the level, and then it went up like that. My initial thought in the beginning was that the QQQ and the Nasdaq is breaking up. I'm waiting for that retest right here for the potential long, but since it fell, I was also looking at the SPY level, even though I see this rejection right here. Looking at the SPY level, if this level held right here, then I would have taken the long, but since it didn't hold, it rejected, and now we can start seeing rejections right there. This was an intraday break and retest that I seen, so I drew that line in the middle right there. I drew that line right there, and I saw how early morning it was failing, then later it broke up, it started retesting level, and it was holding. Then later on the day, it failed again, and it started retesting and rejecting that level. At the same time, it was rejecting the Nasdaq level and general areas around the QQQ. At first, my levels wasn't exactly at the 516 or this Nasdaq level here. It was a little lower, but I just knew that it was rejecting in that area, and my target was going to be this low right here on the SPY right here, but I decided that I wanted to hold all the way to the 580 level right there. I knew that we're still in a bullish market, and I didn't respect it, and that's why it just got bought back up right here. I tried to set up multiple times because it kept rejecting the same level right here. It kept rejecting, so I was like, let's keep trying it. I can sit here and say, is this even my A+ setup? So why did I even take it in the first place? It is still a break and retest. I used to love taking these false breakouts. It breaks up, it falls back down, it starts retesting the level, and it rejects. It all aligned in other markets, so I was like, this used to be my A+ setup that I liked before, so I can just take it again. But I just didn't respect my target, and I just lost. This type of trade is something I want to keep an eye on, but it's still not the proper break and retest that I usually like taking, but it's just something to look out for in the future. The next day on Friday, I did take a trade. It was actually a break and retest long for the first time after like a couple months, and it was a good trade. It was a 40%, $41. The market did gap down on this day, and usually when the market gaps down like that, people like to short it a lot, and it just fails. The market just likes to get bought back up, and it slowly likes to grind. And before, I used to short these plays a lot because it could potentially be a break, retest, and then short, and that's how usually a downtrend works. But these type of days, it just likes to grind up slowly, and then it just never falls down. It just doesn't like getting shorted because in the bigger time frames, we are holding major demand zones, and it is a multi-demand break and retest that I looked at the bigger time frame for, and that's why I did take a long instead. We see in early morning it is rejecting this 576 level on the SPY, and we are also above these daily SMAs, daily moving averages on the market. This is 100, this is 200. They're different colors because I customized it myself. We do see a break and a retest of that level, and then I took it for a long right there. After it starts holding this level right here, I decided to take my long, and it's the same as the Nasdaq, and I did sell it right at this high on the Nasdaq. It didn't really align with the QQQ and the ES right here, but if I did draw a line, it will align exactly the same thing, but I just played off the SPY and the Nasdaq. This right here is also why I'm deciding to move the futures, because you see right here, this is probably like a 3-to-1 or 4-to-1, but on my trade, on my options trading, that was only a 40%, so it would probably be only a 2-to-1, to be honest, if I'm doing options. But if I just traded the futures, if I just traded the stock, that would have been an actual 3-to-1 or 4-to-1. The volume was moving really slow, so that's why if I'm trading like this, then futures just make more sense. Especially on the upside, it likes to grind really slowly, and for options, it's just not going to be the best. And I feel like trading regular stocks like Nvidia, Tesla, they're more volatile, and those are just better for options than just trading the indice and the market itself. On my last week of May, I did take 2 trades. I did take it on Tuesday, and I also did take it on Thursday, but it was on my paper trading account. So for now, I am going to paper trade because I am trading in futures now, and I want to get used to just trading the futures, and I have to build my account and add more money in there so I can actually trade futures. I am going to paper trade for a bit to find my consistency again and just understand the futures market a bit better, so I can later trade on my normal account, which is this account right here. If I did include that trade, then I'll probably be down almost $200 in this month. Going into Tuesday now, I did take all these losses. These are just dumb, way too high, 38%, 70%, and 44%. The first trade right here, and it's all the exact same trade again, the same shit that I keep doing, and I'm just stacking up losses. They're all the same idea, and I just keep taking it. I don't even know why I'm even doing this at this point. I'm getting tired of it, so that's why I am doing a lot of switches. So what I saw again was I saw this break of the SPY and the ES. It was retesting the level slowly, and I did take it, and It was a little far from the ES zone that I wanted to take off. I took it early and I lost, but it doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even matter because this trade setup was never even there and I just kept trying it. The Qs and the Nasdaq were in a demand zone. I'm basically trying to short in a bullish market and I'm just not reading the market structure properly. That is why I'm losing in the first place. That's why the levels do really matter. It's because I trust my levels. And if I do have the wrong levels, then I'm just going to be wrong. When I'm doing good, I'm reading market structure properly and also my levels are proper. But when I'm reading market structure bad and have my levels bad, then I'm just gonna be losing my trade. Now to break down my trade on Thursday, I did lose $91 and it was on the Nasdaq, so it was a bit more leverage. Not really used to it still. And I did lose a lot more than I should because my stop loss didn't even hit. It just went through my stop loss for some reason. So I'm just trying to get used to that. I don't know why, maybe because the volume was higher. But if my stop loss actually hit, then I probably would have lost like just under $70. Today, this was a like super clear. I decided to change my market to the actual futures, Nasdaq and the ES, because that's what I only want to look at. I don't need to look at the Qs or the SPY. I'm not going to trade options. Since I didn't have the SPY and QQQ, I'm always used to that. And I always trade off of that. And I always make sure they align with the Nasdaq and ES. But coming into today, this was the demand zones that I wanted to hold. And I can play a retest long. It's funny when I'm trying to long the market, when the market shows weakness, the market is strong, I try to short it. We can see the proper breakdown. It starts retesting the level and that was the best short of the day. Same thing on the ES, it broke down, it came out to retest the level. That was like the perfect A+ setup of the day that I always like to take, but I never took it. I decided to long instead. I was like, there's a lot of highs on the Nasdaq, so maybe I can just take it long right there and have my stop loss there. But that doesn't make sense anymore. The thing that I wanted to hold was this level right here, and the ES was never above this level, so why am I even longing the market? So right now I'm just trading bad in general. If I had the SPY and the QQQ on my chart, then I would 100% win this trade. I would 100% short this position. But that's the thing about changing things up, is because you're not used to it. And that's why I do want to paper trade, so I can get familiar with the charts and also not lose my money from just trying something new like so quickly and just not really adjusting to it. The problem that I had today was like, I did want to short this level on the Nasdaq, but there was two zones. Since I had a zone right here, I didn't know where to short. So like, do I short here or do I short here? And the ES, I had to short here and here. Which space do I even give it to? If I did put my stop loss here and I did short it here, the risk will be a bit too much. That's why I'm like contemplating what if I should short or not. Later, since I took so long, I was like, maybe I should just long instead. That's why I'm not used to this market. I had to get used to the market so I'm able to trade properly. But if I had the Qs and the SPY, those markets were fully showing me to short it, and that's why I would have shorted that day. To briefly show you guys what I'm talking about, this is how I always look at my charts. Like, I'm very used to this charts. I always look at the Qs, the SPY, the Nasdaq, and the ES. Since I was only looking at this chart right here, I was only looking at this, it was hard for me to understand or where to put my stop loss, because it was different for me. But if I was just looking at the Qs and the SPY right here, my level was 523 on the Qs and 592 on the SPY. We can see how it clearly breaks down on the Qs. It fails, it does a false breakout, and then it starts rejecting right there, right at the exact 523 level. And then the SPY does the same thing, breaks down, retests, and it fails right at the 592 level. It's so A+ that I would be dumb to not take a short right there. And I don't even know why I even longed the market. I'm not used to the market. I was like, okay, let's look at the Nasdaq. I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and maybe these levels could be the potential high in the market. You can see how this zone right here is holding. So I was like, maybe this could be the next long or something. And I'm just like doing really stupid things right now. So that's why I like was trying to long, but clearly it's breaking down the market. And I'm not used to looking at just those two markets. I just didn't take the short and I just longed instead. And what I was explaining to you guys earlier was that I was trying to short this level right here. Let's take out my position right here, my short position calculator. Let's say I got my position here, and then I would put my stop loss like up here or something, right? I didn't know where to put my stop loss. I either put it above this high right here or I put it right here. And if I put it right here, I'm risking about 50 points. And my target would have been like around here, let's say. That's about a 2.4 risk to reward. But if I do take the trading panel right here and put only one, I'm gonna risk about $100 if I take this play, and I am gonna make a $245 return. That's pretty good. But you guys already know my risks. I never lose $100. My losses are only $20, $30. So this doesn't make sense for me to trade that much. It doesn't make sense. It's just way too far of a stop loss. And of course the Nasdaq is more leveraged, so I'm going to have to lose more. But for me, this stop loss is just way too far what I normally take. I'm just contemplating on my levels and I just don't know where to put my stop loss. And yeah, so I just never took it. I just decided to long instead. So it's pretty dumb of me. Still trying to get used to this thing. So on Thursday, I decided to make the switch to futures. I'm just tired of options. If you guys haven't watched my other video, my last video on why I'm quitting options, then you guys should watch that first. I have the Nasdaq here. It's going to be the micro Nasdaq and the micro ES. It is 1/10 of the size of the normal E mini sizes. and that's going to be better for me to trade, obviously, because I'm not going to be risking $20 or $50 in each single point. And I was going to have my charts like this, but now I'm like, what's the point of having this chart, because I don't know if I should take the Nasdaq or if I should take the ES. I'm just deciding which one to take. But before I had 4 charts, I was like, I have to make sure they all align. But now it's like, why am I trying to make it complicated? I want to make it more simple. So now I am just going to look at the ES. I'm just going to have the ES chart like this. One chart, one screen, one trade, and I'm done. I don't have to look at multiple charts. I don't have to complicate things. And I'm doing this because I know many traders only trade one chart. They only look at one chart and this trade. So why am I looking at 4 charts, or why am I looking at 2 charts? I'm making it more complicated. Although it's good to look at the Nasdaq as well, and there could be divergences in the market, but I am going to test this out for now. And I have back tested a lot. I looked at all my journal trades, or a lot of them, and mainly the ES is always consistent, and I don't need to look at the Nasdaq to trade. Most of the trades that I took, I don't really need the Nasdaq to stop me from taking a trade. It's because if the ES has a proper break and retest, then it's going to work. It normally respects the market, so I don't really need to look at the Nasdaq and have more things on my screen. And I'm just gonna keep it simple now. And I feel like this whole change is going to be able to make me more consistent. I know it's going to take some time for all these changes, but I feel like it's going to be better for me. That is my month of May. There's going to be a lot of changes for next month. I am switching to futures. I am only going to trade one chart from being 4 charts, which is a major difference. Also, taking only one trade, hopefully this helps me be more consistent, and I'm not going to take a lot of losses. I know that I can make a lot of good trades, but I just got to take my risk management to the next level and focus on that. The major problems was that I was just taking many trades when I was losing, and it just stacking up, and I'm just taking too many losses. And the other thing is just reading market structure. But if I'm able to fix those two, I'm going to be better in the long run. And also I'm switching to futures, so I feel like I am going to find more consistency with that, with my profit and losses. And I feel like all these changes will be a good step moving forward, but I just gotta keep staying consistent and just be patient with my trading, and I can see consistency in the long run. And what I like to say is, how you do one thing is how you do everything. Keep staying disciplined, keep staying consistent, and let's just get 1% better every day, and I'll see you in the next one.